what would be the first steps that they could take in terms of contracts and to apply design thinking?
Try reading it yourself by putting yourself in the shoes of the person that's actually going to need to use this contract. Try reading it with a different mindset. Take your lawyer hat off for a minute and start looking at it with a different lens. And then give that contract to someone who's a business person and get them to give you feedback. Read this contract and tell me what you think it means. And just, watch them be really confused. And so do a discovery piece, if you like. Do a discovery piece and figure out what your areas of friction are, which bits are super confusing. Especially if you're a lawyer, you will be amazed sometimes to see that there are words that you just take for granted that are clear, that a person who's not a lawyer doesn't understand. I'm not saying all contracts need to be readable by anybody who's not a lawyer. There are transactions, finance transactions and M&A transactions. You're always going to have lawyers involved. But think about your end user. And then once you've asked them to review and give you feedback, start figuring out what the best way is to present this information to them. Because all a contract is information. And there is a thing called information design. So think about how you're going to present this information to the other person for maximum effect. And there are things that you can do to make that user journey. If you think of your contract as a product, the user, the reader, will go through a user journey. So they'll start off by reading it. The first thing you want to know is what? Well, depending on the context, it might be the parties, it might be the background. How many times have you delved into a contract not even knowing what it's about? You get to the fourth page, you're like, oh, okay, this is what it's about. Or I still don't know what this is about. I need to go and Google them. I need to go and speak to the person who sent me this contract. That's happened to me loads. So context, give it some context. So there are ways, there are methods that you can apply to an agreement to make it more readable. So that's where I'd start. And then don't be afraid of a bit of colour. It doesn't have to be just black and white. Add some icons, add some colour, make it a bit more pleasant because people will engage. And that's what you want. You don't want people to look at it and go, oh God, I really don't want to review this. If it's a nice contract, I love it. It's like, oh, I like this company already.